Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's exclusive session, Wire Your Organization for High Performance. My name is Kevin Austin, founder of XLR8, and I'm delighted to have you with us today as we dive into strategies that can truly elevate your organization's performance. We've designed this 60-minute session for leaders, product teams, service teams, portfolio owners, and strategic decision makers like yourselves who are looking to optimize their teams, processes, and tools to achieve high performance on your terms. Today, we're excited to welcome Arjo van Rieven, an Atlassian Scaled Agile executive who will share Atlassian insights on scaling Agile practices across your organization. Shane Gallen, XLR8's Director of Enterprise Solution, with years of experience in helping businesses align their portfolios with strategic goals. He's been leading on some of the world's largest Jira Line implementations, which Shane will get into. Stephanie White, business intelligence consultant, who will explore how leveraging on-demand data can drive smarter decisions and higher performance. By the end of today's session, you'll walk away with actionable strategies and insights you can immediately apply to your own organization to unlock new levels of productivity and alignment. Now, before we get started, please feel free to use the comments section on the LinkedIn chat for any questions throughout the session. And beyond today's webinar, our guest speakers will respond to the questions in the Q&A comments. Now, let's get started. I'd like to hand over to Arjo, who will kick us off by exploring the foundations of high-performing organizations.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Thanks for inviting me, and great to be here. I'd love to give our perspective on things and talk about what we hear and see in the market and when we speak to our customers. And what we hear from leaders is that the enterprise leadership struggle is real, and it's mainly centered around three things. First is alignment across organizations is still a challenge for these leaders. So it's clear that constant change is continuing to make it hard to prioritize across the organization. And as a leader, you want to know if your teams are putting their efforts in the right places, and usually that is a guessing game at best. Second, there is an exponential rise in complexity. Teams have their own tools and practices, and this makes them operate in silos, which slows down work and slows down the realization of their outcomes. Enterprises struggle to find the right data to make decisions, and 7 out of 10 organizations still operate off spreadsheets. And thirdly, there's an increasing macroeconomic pressures. And with these pressures and opportunities, it's never been more important to focus on productivity and efficiency. Not moving fast enough or staying aligned is having real impacts on the bottom line of your organization. And then there are new realities shaping the way we work as well. So we hear leaders bring up these recurring themes. There's a lot of hype around AI, but how do you operationalize AI within your organization? How do you make use of it in your own individual contexts? And irrespective of return to work policies, scaled companies have to deal with distributed teams. How do you keep them effective in a remote, in-person, or in a hybrid world? And thirdly, the sprawl of tools and data is a constant battling against silos. How do we rationalize our technology stack and ensure our organization can work together easily? We hear that nearly half of the CEOs surveyed by the Institute for Business Value identify productivity as their highest business priority. And to move through all these challenges and struggles, every enterprise needs a North Star. And for many, the North Star was agility or transforming digitally. And we've seen the North Star should have at least these three key aspects. You should focus on value. It's all about making all the work visible and connected to the outcomes you want to achieve. Only then you start to find out how much time is spent on keeping the lights on and how much you spend on driving the outcomes that you want to achieve as an organization. Transparency is the second key aspect. You need to know who you are working with and how they are depending on you to realize their outcomes. Without transparency, there is no predictability in delivery. And last, you need the right insights to make informed decisions instead of making decisions based on a stomach feeling. Only then you can really improve. And after over 20 years of working with teams, our North Star is the system of work. And the system of work is our philosophy of how technology-driven organizations should work, connecting technology and business teams to accelerate progress and maximize team impact. And I hear you think, so what is a technology-driven organization? Well, it's those companies who believe technology is on their critical path to success, whether they are building software, undergoing a digital transformation, or launching new innovations. And we, as Atlassian, believe in three key principles to bring technology and business teams together and build a system of work across your organization. First, you need to align work to shared goals. When all work aligns to goals and all goals are visible across all teams in an entire organization, companies focus on the right things. Then you need to plan and track work together. When every team has a shared understanding of the who, what, when, and how behind work, progress is inevitable. And lastly, you need to unleash the collective knowledge. Knowledge is everywhere, but yet nowhere. When teams can build, share, and harness their collective knowledge, they can achieve collective growth. Atlassian's portfolio delivers the products as well as the practices that drive specific behavior that can bring your tech and business teams together and have a system of work in place. And when you do this constantly, you'll observe that you will have a faster time to value, you will have more engaged teams, and ultimately you will have a higher return on your investment. And using our solutions and practices, we've seen customers that gain more efficiency, increased effectiveness, and higher productivity. You can read the stats on the slide. This is not just what we say, but this is based on research done by the Enterprise Strategy Group, an independent research company. So it's all about connecting work to outcomes, and outcomes are driven by the strategy that an enterprise has put forward. So let's double click on the strategy lifecycle. Atlassian offers solutions and capabilities that help run your strategy lifecycle. Our history is rooted in software development. And while many vendors start the software lifecycle with the first line of code, we take a step back and start with strategy, where you're setting your most strategic initiatives and goals. But we also go beyond that, expanding strategy management across all teams in your organization, not just those that ship software. Then you implement that strategy and you plan the work that is tied to the outcomes, and the work is executed, and then you start to get insights. You learn from those insights and you improve. And this is actually a nice segue into Accelerate that helps leaders getting the right insights to make informed decisions. Now back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, Arjo. Now, before we dive deeper into today's content and I hand over to Shane and Stephanie, let me share something special that you'll have access to at the end of this session, a personalized benchmarking report. So for over a decade, the DORA Accelerate State of DevOps report has been providing critical insights into the practices and capabilities that help high-performing technology organizations succeed. So in its 10th year, the DORA report goes even further, exploring how AI is reshaping work and its impact in overall technology performance. This is something that Stephanie will showcase shortly. So Arjo mentioned the importance of the strategy lifecycle. And at Accelerate, we're conducting our own research with partner organizations set for release in 2025. Our Enterprise High Performance Report aims to deliver deep insights into the strategy lifecycle for organizations striving to achieve high performance. At the end of today's session, you'll have exclusive early access to 4 emerging measures of high-performing organizations. Our free report takes less than 2 minutes to complete, giving you instant access to personalized results. We'll look at business performance insights lead time, strategy deployment time, strategic alignment ratio, and failed strategy recovery time. So at the end of today's session, we'll give you a link to access your reports. Stay tuned and see how your organization measures up and gain valuable real-time insights to support your journey towards high performance. Are you open today with the leadership struggle is real? I'd like to take a moment to share a bit about why I founded Accelerate and what drives our mission today. Before starting Accelerate, I often found myself in development teams or management roles or leadership roles where I was grappling with scattered information. Data felt like it was everywhere, and I was constantly trying to piece together how my team, our work and organization were really performing. It was frustrating, it was inefficient, and pretty stressful. And I always felt like there needed to be a better way. So this is how Accelerate came to be. When our company focused on making data work for people, teams, and organizations. I wanted to help people access the information they need when they need it to make confident decisions on their terms. That's our mission at Accelerate, to connect the dots so that everyone can see the big picture and understand how their work aligns to their organization strategy. And put simply, how might we help people move from that feeling of everything is here, there, and everywhere to a feeling that everything is connected? And I'll pass over to Shane.
Thanks, Kevin. So we're talking about everything being here, there, and everywhere. And with Atlassian system of work and Jira Align representing the roof of that system of work, providing the capability for leaders to enable enterprise strategy, planning, and execution. We see the 4 dimensions of high performance come together. So our people, everything from our enterprise down through the different portfolios across those enterprises and the connected portfolios, the work and how that connects with the people, and those different time horizons that we are planning our strategy against and executing it as well. We see that come together in Jira Align with real-time visibility and clarity from strategy to execution, enabling everyone to have what they need when they need it, to be confident in the decisions that they're making and have that decision advantage with that real-time data. So let's bring that to life with a tour through the strategy lifecycle with a few of Jira Align's capabilities. The wrong screen. So when we think about the start of that strategy lifecycle and we're starting to define that high-level strategy for a specific time horizon, Jira Align Strategy Room allows us to define that and articulate it for the rest of the organization, making it visible. So here we're looking at a corporate strategy for 2024, where we've defined the mission, vision, and values, and we've been able to connect those underpinning long-term goals, long-term strategies, strategic goals, and the objectives and key results that our portfolios are hoping to move the needle on in the specific strategic horizon. We can connect the work in real time, so we now have that connected view from strategy to execution in real time, and leaders can see how they're progressing against the work and also how they're progressing against the outcomes. And as we define that strategy and as we start to execute it, we can also see where there's misalignment. And with misalignments, we've got misaligned capacity, misaligned investments. So in real time, we can really shift left on this and get out of that danger zone much earlier. So as we consume that strategy and we start to define it, we also want to set some boundaries around where we want to invest our time, effort, and money. So from here, we can start to set those guardrails in terms of the strategies. And as the work's broken down by the portfolio, we can see how that may be divergent from where we set off initially. So again, in real time, we can see in this example where we've overinvested in operationalizing AI from 10% initially. We're now planning work in this strategic life cycle that's that's actually 2.5 times more than what we set the guardrails for. And we're also seeing that we're under-investing in mobile first as a strategy. And we're starting to see investment going into work that's not aligned to our strategy. So leaders have that decision advantage again to interject early and understand what's going on here. Is it a data quality issue, or have we got work that's going on that's not aligned to strategy? So we're defining that strategy and we're starting to think about the guardrails for investments, the different themes, and we're starting to think about the different initiatives. We can use Jira Line's backlog then to start to use that as an intake mode and prioritize the work, define the work, and again, understand whether or not this is aligned to our strategy. So with the backlog, we can prioritize it. We can see the different themes that the work's connected to, and depending on what value prioritization method you're using, whether it's a BlizzGIF, cost of delay, strategic value scoring, we can really prioritize that backlog for value and optimize it for the value that we're seeking to achieve. We also want to be able to govern that intake. So those different ideas, those different requests, they can be governed through Jira Line's value stream Kanban view, where we can ask those good questions and really guide those questions with specific exit criteria. Those are work aligned with strategy, how we define those objectives and key results. And as we move that through the flow and start to think about when we're going to deliver the work, do we have the right capacity? Have we allocated the right budget? And again, does that align with those guardrails that we set out initially at the start of the year? Or maybe we might need to adjust them as we go. So we're planning the work that's aligned with our strategy. We're thinking about capacity. And this is where Jira Line also offers leaders and teams that capability to understand the work that we've planned. Does that match the capacity that's available? So as we think about the capacity, we can look at our backlog, look across all those teams that are in our portfolio, and understand this from a capacity versus demand perspective. And straight away, we're getting alerts here. That's the AI program, the mobile program, and the platform program. They're all over capacity. And as we look down through the backlog, we can see what initiatives that we're investing in that are aligned to our strategy are being impacted. And straight away, we can see here the guided search is being impacted by the capacity in the mobile program. So as leaders, we can take action and look at where we need to reallocate capacity, manage the expectations of our customers and stakeholders, and get a plan in place to execute. And as we start to define those plans, we're thinking about risks and dependencies. We can, again, model those dependency relationships and understand where there might be early warning indicators of risk or failure, where we've got high clusters of dependencies. So in this example, we'll look into the Niners. So there's quite a high relationship here between the Niners and others. We can open that up straight away as leaders and understand what's been requested of the Niners and what the Niners are requesting from others. Understand where they're at in terms of commitments and where there may be risk where we've got no commitments or even blocked dependencies for our plan. So these plans all come together in Jira Line's roadmaps, where we can again communicate that intent from a strategic nature. So all our different strategic themes, the underpinning initiatives and features that we're looking to deliver, we can communicate those with stakeholders, understand any key milestones, and also use this as a way to track how we're progressing towards our strategy. And as we want to see how we're progressing against those strategic goals, we can really delve down from that high level view down into the themes that underpin those, understand how the work's progressing against each of them, And as we open it up further and look at the initiatives, we're getting an alert straight away here in red that we've got initiatives that are blocked, that we can open up and understand the features that underpin them. And again, take action, understand why this is happening. And if we're working on the developer team side or the team level, teams have access to that why as well. So why are we working on this piece of work? How does it move the needle on the organization's wider purpose? And they can do that using Jira Line's why functionality, which is integrated across Jira and Jira Line, providing them the understanding of why this is important, how it connects to strategy, or how maybe it doesn't connect to strategy, and what prioritization that's been given in terms of value. So we're now moving through that define, plan, and execute, where we're getting that real-time execution data coming from Jira. As we start to think about evaluating that strategy, we can use Jira Line's OKR Hub to understand how we move the needle on those outcomes. And we can do this from that long-term goal perspective, the long-term strategy perspective, your portfolio OKRs, depending on what level or altitude you want to understand strategy. And we can view this from the perspective of how are we progressing against the objective or the outcome from a key result perspective, but also from a work perspective. So as leaders delve into this and understand the decisions that they might need to make, they've got everything they need to make those decisions in real time. So they've got the who, the why, the what, and the when, the work that's been delivered, the people that are delivering it, the results or the outcomes that they're trying to achieve, and when they're expecting to deliver this. So we've taken a bit of a whistle-stop tour through Jira Line and the enterprise strategy and planning capabilities. Before I hand over to Stephanie, recognize that when you're wiring your organization for high performance, you need other data sources often. So with Jira Line, we've seen that enterprise view of the system of work brought together with Jira Line, giving you that real-time view from strategy to execution. We can now enhance that further by taking that data out of Jira Line into your BI platform, connecting that with finance, HR, CRM, and any other data source that's important, and bringing that together to have those AI, ML dashboards and reporting capability that's going to further wire your organization for high performance. So I'll hand over to Steph now, who is going to delve a bit deeper into these high performance capabilities.
Thank you, Shane. Can we bring the PowerPoint back up again, please? Sorry, I seem to have completely lost audio.
Is this the right slide, Steph?
Yeah, sorry, it could just be my screen. Okay, let me just continue. Sorry about that. Okay, so thank you, Shane. It's a pleasure to be part of the session today, and I'm excited to share how we can use data to make better decisions and achieve real-time insights. So as you, Shane and Kevin have already touched on, data can often feel misaligned or siloed in various locations. But by creating structure and alignment, you can gain a holistic view within your organisation. So this can give a much clearer visual of what's actually going on within your execution layer and how it aligns to the company's overall strategic goals. So tools such as Atlassian Analytics, Click, Power BI or Tableau can of course offer this solution, where you can bring all of your data into one central repository. This, of course, can support with data governance, security, and provides that single source of truth, which many of us can depend on. Although more suited for a future session, but it's worth highlighting at this point, you can also think about all of the additional features that these platforms offer, such as your on-demand report distribution, so enabling your real-time QBR reporting. You've got your mobile and WhatsApp integration, allowing your users to access key insights and reports on the go, and ensuring that your decision makers stay informed regardless of their location. And of course, one of the most talked about topics being our AI integration, which allows you to uncover deeper insights from your unstructured data. And I'll provide a high-level overview of this today as part of my demonstration. So most organizations already use a BI solution. So since you've invested a lot of time and resources in setting up and customizing your data and reports, whether it's Qlik, Power BI, or Tableau, it's really about thinking about how you can make the most of the tools that you already have. So if we talk about connecting the Atlassian data to your other key sources, so your other sources being an example of like your financial data from systems such as SAP or Oracle, so being able to align that cost to your delivery. You've got things like your HR data, so your employee data from systems such as Workday. This allows you to add additional context such as employee performance and engagement scores. And of course, there's many more, but you've also got like your marketing data and customer information from systems such as Salesforce that provides the insights to improve your projects and client satisfaction along the way. So bringing all of this critical data into one place makes it easier to keep projects and initiatives in sync with business goals, ensuring that every team is working towards the same objectives. This type of integration also improves collaboration between departments, and most importantly, it creates full transparency at all levels. It's giving everyone a clear view of the bigger picture. And just one last point just before we're moving into the product demo. From what we hear, executives often can see tools such as Jira or Jira Align predominantly for our execution teams, including your agile delivery teams, your PMOs or development teams. However, it's really, really important that we bridge this gap and connect them to the Atlassian ecosystem and its system of work philosophy that Arlo mentioned earlier. So by bringing the dashboards into the mix, it's a great way to create that alignment and to close that gap. Okay, so now moving away from theory and into practical, let me show you a template that gives a clear example of how these ideas have come together. Okay, so what you can see on my screen, so this is a template that has been built on the Qlik stack. As I mentioned, this can be built across any BI solution. But what you're seeing here in the first sheet is this illustrates the organisation's strategic goals, and it highlights the current progress at a high level, along with any financial impacts. So it allows you to quickly identify which goals are not meeting their targets or are meeting the targets, and some which may be at risk of exceeding their budget. So what you're seeing on the screen here is the gauge charts are indicating, the gauge charts are coming from the Enterprise Insights database, so that's your Atlassian data, and it's demonstrating the progress against each of the goals. And the data at the bottom bar is showing, in this case, this is coming from your SAP data source, and in this instance, it's showing your financial impact and the spend against this goal. So it creates a much more telling story. So imagine you're really close to achieving your goal, but you've exceeded your budget. Now you need to make a different decision. What impact does that overspend have on your overall project? And maybe think about how that might affect budget with allocating cost to other parts of the business. Okay, so most organisations are increasingly setting ESG goals, focusing on ways to reduce their carbon footprint and enhance sustainability. Connecting this with your initiatives and other critical information, such as compliance audits and training data, provides a comprehensive view, ensuring that your efforts are aligned within your key priorities needed to achieve these types of targets. This dashboard here shows real-time insights into the strengths and improvement areas, helping you stay on track and adjust projects to reach your goals. So did we pass that compliance audit? Is there training being provided to support this goal? And if so, what's the delivery rate against that training, are the types of insights that we're seeing here? Okay, and when people see how their way of work aligns with the strategic goals and understands the impact that that has within the organisation's performance, it can, of course, foster a sense of purpose and alignment. In this section of the template, we're focusing on the misaligned tasks. So not only can identifying these tasks that don't align with the overall strategic goal reveal their cost impact, but it can also create a sense of urgency of action. In these types of cases, it allows for one of two things, potentially more, but the two key things to highlight at this point is, first, you can assess the task and make a decision, such as pausing the work or reallocating that resource to another part of project work. It could also be highlighting an admin task, so it's more around a data cleansing piece. So as Shane touched on earlier during the Jira Line demo, there may be an admin task to ensure that this epic is linked to the correct strategic goal. And by making that adjustment in the source system, allowing the data to flow real-time into the dashboard, it'll not only remove the task from appearing as a misaligned task on this sheet, but you'll also begin to see the impact that this has on other areas of the dashboard, such as the executive summary sheet that we reviewed just a second ago. This template is just an example of some of the displays that you can have. There's much more to this, which I don't have time today to go into, but I just wanted to highlight some of the key points. And for those who are already using Jira Align, or maybe planning on implementing it soon, if you're not already yet leveraging Enterprise Insights, I highly recommend considering it. Jira Align's data is extracted into a structured database. It's making it easy to access and integrate it into your existing tools. So it enables you to dive deeper into the data, uncover valuable insights, and get a clearer view of how your team are working. It's a practical way to make the best use out of the data that you've already got. Okay, one final piece that I'd like to cover on the template. So I mentioned earlier that one of the key benefits that we have with advances of integrating AI insights into tools such as this, it allows you to integrate with your unstructured data. So, for example, we touched on earlier around the compliance audits and the people engagement data. We tend to find that a lot of this data can be stored in PDF or Word document format. And it's about how can we get that data into our data piece and tell a much wider story of what's going on. So let me just show you an example of this. So within this template here, we're using Click's AI Assistant, which is our Click Answers piece. And you'll see that I've got a chat window here. So the more data, of course, you can feed in to your AI knowledge base, the more insights that you'll get. So you may want to consider adding things such as NPS surveys or engagement scores from your HR systems, and it can enrich different types of questions of what's happening within different areas of the business. An example that we could ask our AI tool in this case would be, so what may be causing a reduction in performance from our IT department last month? So we're seeing a dip in performance and we want to get an understanding of what's going on within that area of the business, particularly around our people engagement surveys. So I can go off and I can ask my AI agent to go into my knowledge base, gather any unstructured data that I may have asked it to capture, and make an outcome that I can then at least relate to. And of course, in this case, it will show me the source of where it's coming from, so I can see that is this answer reliable and is this something that I can use as part of my insights. We can, of course, ask questions that are more budget related. So I can ask it questions such as, I've got an organisation size of 2,000 people. I want to make an investment into Jira Align, for example. So if I was to invest 450,000 in 1 year, what are the benefits if I invest in a jumpstart? And again, in this particular case, we're going to get some feedback on the benefits of investing in a jumpstart. That's very specific to my organisation, my budget, and my volume of people. Okay, so in conclusion, by focusing on data integration and alignment, we can gain a clearer view of our organisation's performance and ensure that all teams are working towards the same objective. I urge you to embrace these tools and insights to drive your successes within your teams. And with that said, I'll pass you back to Arjo at this point.
Thank you, Stephanie. So we talked about the common challenges and struggles we hear in the market and how a system of work can help counter that. Shane just showed how you can connect strategy to execution with Jira and Jira Align by making all work visible and connecting it to strategy and your outcome. And when you connect the dots, you can bring strategy, work, people, teams, and funds together so you can see if your strategy is delivering what you set out to achieve. This empowers teams to deliver. Teams can deliver more autonomously and with more confidence and with less risk, which is important. And when the dots are connected and strategy is connected to the execution, you can make better decisions faster. You will have the relevant data and insights to pivot or persevere across your strategic investments, as shown by Stephanie. You can even combine data from Atlassian with third-party data like finance, HR, CRM to get a complete view across your enterprise. And what is the benefit of all of this? Well, it's measurable results. When you connect the dots, 100% of the work in your organization is tied to strategy. You can easily spot orphaned work and reallocate those teams to where you need them most. And when teams are empowered, they can move faster. Transparency and a culture oriented towards value creation results in a 10% increase in your development productivity and a 2 times faster time to market. And finally, when you have the right contextually relevant data and insights, you can reduce manual reporting in spreadsheets by 70% and speed up your transformation by 15 to 30%. Well, hopefully that's enough to at least dive deeper in this topic. And I'd like to hand over to Kevin.
Thank you, Arjo. Just before we wrap up, so Arjo was highlighting the power of ensuring alignment at all levels. So we've got the business challenger, as we call it, TBC. So the business challenge. So as we continue to build on the ideas that Stephanie and Shane and Arjo are taking us through, Accelerate helps organizations not only scale, but gain the clarity, confidence, and the decision advantages they need to achieve high performance. So the Atlassian system of work is the glue that helps you, your teams and organizations lead with agility and confidence, giving you the clarity you need to drive alignment, the confidence in your data, and the strategic decision-making advantage for success. So this is the business challenge that we all have. So I was saying at Accelerate, we bring together enterprise solutions to help organizations achieve high performance. So as an Atlassian Agile at Scale specialized partner, which I'm super proud that our teams have achieved, we use the Atlassian toolset to support every layer of the enterprise's needs from strategy to execution. So starting with business intelligence and AI connected to enterprise strategy and planning. And then at the foundation, we've got team foundations and value operations. It seems so simple and obvious that each layer should be connected together, giving people, teams, and leaders the data they need when they need it. So together, these solutions enable organizations to harness the power of data, align their strategy, and empower teams to operate at their best. And as promised, here's your exclusive early access to a glimpse of our ongoing research into high-performing organizations. So this scorecard will allow you to see how your organization's performance ranks against industry benchmarks of the data that we've captured so far, giving you an immediate sense of where you stand in key areas. So by scanning the QR code, you'll get access to the high-performance scorecard. We will also send out links and put in the chat and the comments in the chat beyond today's webinar. So once you complete the short assessment, you'll receive an overall performance score and insight to your organization, how your organization compares to others. So this scorecard we have designed to give you actionable data to help identify the strengths and areas for improvement. So please explore, and we look forward to your feedback. This Atlassian and Accelerate webinar today is a big deal for us at Accelerate. So thank you all for taking the time to join this session on wiring your organization for high performance. We hope that you've gained valuable insights that you can take back to your teams and organizations that might help you improve and implement and drive real measurable improvements and success. I'd like to give a huge thanks to our speakers, Arjo, Shane, and Stephanie, for sharing their experience today. It's been a great session full of actionable strategies for aligning your organization's work to your business objectives and unlocking high performance. We'll send out the link straight after the session. Please take advantage of these opportunities. We look forward to your feedback. And once again, thank you for joining today. So on behalf of Arjo, Shane, Stephanie, and I, we look forward to staying connected and helping you achieve high performance.